Stop. Before you buy your next silver coin, before you spend another dollar stacking silver in 2026, you need to hear this. Because right now, thousands of investors across the United States are unknowingly overpaying 20%, 30%, even 50% premiums on silver coins that are simply not worth it. And the worst part? Most of these coins are marketed as premium, limited, or collector's items, when in reality, they're just expensive mistakes. In today's video, I'm going to break down the 5 silver coins you should never buy in 2026, why these coins are massively overpriced, and what smart investors are buying instead. Because in a market where silver demand is rising, what you buy matters just as much as how much you buy. Welcome back. If you're new here, this channel is all about breaking down real, no-hype insights into gold, silver, commodities, and macro trends specifically tailored for investors in the United States. No fluff, no gimmicks, just what actually matters for your money. And today, we're talking about a mistake I see way too many people making. The trap most silver buyers fall into. Let me start with something that might surprise you. Not all silver is equal. Yes, an ounce of silver is technically an ounce of silver, but the price you pay for that ounce can vary dramatically depending on what you're buying. For example, some coins sell for $5, $10 over spot. Others, $20, $30, even higher. And that difference, that's called the premium. Now, premiums exist for a reason. Minting costs, distribution, brand recognition, collectability. But here's where things go wrong. A lot of investors, especially beginners, end up paying massive premiums for coins that don't hold resale value, don't have real collector demand, and don't outperform basic bullion over time. In other words, they're paying extra for nothing. Why? This matters more in 2026. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but what's the big deal? It's just a few extra dollars. No, 2026, this matters more than ever because we are entering a market where industrial demand for silver is rising, supply constraints are tightening, and institutional interest is quietly increasing. This means one thing: efficiency matters. If silver goes from $25 to $50 and you overpaid a 40% premium, you just gave up a huge portion of your gains. Smart investors focus on maximizing ounces per dollar, not collecting overpriced coins that look nice but perform poorly. Quick pause. If you want more breakdowns like this that actually help you avoid costly investing mistakes, make sure you hit subscribe. Because most channels will tell you what to buy, but very few will tell you what not to buy. And that's where real money is saved. Coin 1, proof silver coins. Let's start with the first category, and this one might upset some collectors. Proof silver coins. Coins like American Silver Eagle Proof Coin, Canadian Maple Leaf Proof Coin. Look, I get it. They're beautiful. Mirror-like finish, limited mintages, fancy packaging. But here's the problem. You're paying a massive premium for aesthetics. Proof coins often sell for 2x, sometimes 3x, the price of regular bullion. And when you go to sell them, most dealers will only pay you a small premium over spot. That means you lose a huge chunk of your investment instantly. Unless you're a serious collector, proof coins are not an investment, they're a luxury purchase. Coin 2, colorized and gimmick coins. Next up, colorized silver coins. These are the coins you see online with painted designs, pop culture themes, flags, animals, superheroes. They look cool, but from an investment standpoint, they're one of the worst buys in the silver market. Why? Because the added design has zero intrinsic value. Most dealers treat them as generic silver, and collector demand is extremely limited by. So you might pay $40, $50, even $70 for a 1-ounce coin, but when you sell, you'll likely get spot price. That's a guaranteed loss. Coin 3, limited edition, hype coins. Now let's talk about one of the biggest traps in 2026. Limited edition silver coins. You've seen these. Only 10,000 minted. Exclusive release. Collector's opportunity. Sounds rare, right? Not exactly. Here's the truth. Limited edition does not automatically mean valuable. In fact, most of these coins are mass-produced with artificial scarcity, heavily marketed to retail buyers, and forgotten within a few years unless a coin has historical significance, strong collector demand, or long-term recognition. It's not going to hold that premium. You're paying for marketing, not value. Coin 4, high premium government coins, overhyped bullion. Now let's talk about a category that's a little more controversial, because these coins are popular, trusted, and widely recommended. But in 2026, some of them are becoming seriously overpriced. High premium government bullion coins. Coins like American Silver Eagle Coin, Canadian Silver Maple Leaf Coin. Now, don't get me wrong. These are legitimate, high-quality coins. They're recognized worldwide, easy to sell, backed by government mints. But here's the issue. The premiums have gotten out of control. At times, especially during high demand periods in the US, American Silver Eagle Coin can trade $10, $15, even $20 over spot price. That's a huge markup. Now compare that to generic silver rounds, silver bars, lower premium coins. You might be paying 30-50% more per ounce for essentially the same silver content. The key question you should ask, is the premium justified? Sometimes yes, but in 2026, when silver demand is rising and supply is tight, overpaying for brand recognition can seriously hurt your returns, because when you go to sell, you don't always get that premium back. Coin 5, rare numismatic coins for beginners. Now this one is critical, especially if you're new to silver. Rare numismatic coins for investors who aren't experts. We're talking about old collectible coins, historical coins, graded coins with high ratings S. These are often sold as investment-grade collectibles, rare opportunity, wealth preservation assets, and yes, some numismatic coins can increase in value significantly. But here's the reality. This is a completely different game. When you buy numismatic coins, you are not just investing in silver. You're investing in rarity, condition, historical significance, collector demand, demand. And unless you deeply understand that market, you're at a huge disadvantage. Why most beginners lose money here? Dealers often charge massive markups. Pricing is subjective. Resale depends on finding the right buyer. Market liquidity is much lower. So while you might pay $100, $500, even $1,000 plus per coin, the resale value may not match your expectations. For most investors, this is one of the easiest ways to overpay. The hidden strategy smart investors use. Now here's where things get interesting, because avoiding bad coins is only half the game. The real question is, what should you buy instead? Smart silver investors in 2026 are focusing on one thing: maximizing silver per dollar. That means lower premiums, high liquidity, strong resale demand. What they're buying instead of overpriced coins, they're stacking generic silver rounds. Low premium bars, 1 ounce, 5 ounces, 10 ounces, secondary market coins. Bulk silver purchases, because at the end of the day, more ounces equals more leverage to rising prices. A simple example, this changes everything. Let me show you how big of a difference this makes. Let's say you have $1,000 to invest. Investor A buys high premium coins at $40 each, gets 25 ounces. Investor B buys low premium silver at $30 each, gets 33 ounces. Now silver doubles to $60. Investor A equals $1,500. Investor B equals $1,980. That's a $480 difference on the same investment. And the only difference? Premiums. The psychological trap. Here's the part most people don't realize. The silver market is heavily driven by emotion. People love beautiful coins, rare designs, exclusive releases, and dealers know this. So they market silver like a luxury product, not an investment. But smart investors think differently. They ask, how much silver am I getting? What is my cost per ounce? Will I recover this premium when I sell? If the answer is no, they walk away. Now zoom out for a second. Why is this conversation so important right now? Because the silver market is changing. We're seeing rising industrial demand, solar, EVs, AI, tightening physical supply, growing institutional interesting, and potentially the early stages of a major silver bull market. In that kind of environment, every ounce matters. Every dollar matters. And overpaying today could cost you thousands tomorrow. So let's bring it all together. The 5 silver coins you should never buy in 2026. 1. Proof silver coins. 2. Colorized and gimmick coins. 3. Limited edition hype coins. 4. High premium government bullion. 5. Rare numismatic coins for beginners. This doesn't mean they're bad coins. It means they're bad investments at the wrong price. If you want to win in the silver market, focus on value, efficiency, ounces over aesthetics. Before we wrap this up, there's something you need to understand about how the silver market actually works behind the scenes. Because once you see this, you'll never look at premium coins the same way again. Most new investors assume that coin prices are purely based on silver value, rarity, demand. But in reality, a huge part of pricing is driven by dealer profit margins. Here's the truth. Dealers make more money selling proof coins, collector coins, limited editions. Why? Because they can charge massive markups, sometimes 40%, 60%, even 100% plus over spot. And since most buyers don't check spot price or compare premiums, they don't even realize how much extra they're paying. The incentive problem. Think about it like this. If you walk into a dealership, a basic car has a small margin fence. A luxury model has a huge margin fire. Which one do you think they'll push harder? Same thing in silver. Dealers are not trying to scam you, but they are trying to maximize profit. And that means guiding buyers toward higher margin products, not necessarily better investments. What happens when you try to sell? Now let's fast forward, because buying is easy. Selling, that's where reality hits. Let's say you bought a proof coin for $80 at occasion, or a limited edition coin for $60. Oh, you walk into a dealer and say, I want to sell this. And they respond, we'll pay you spot, maybe a small premium. That's the moment most investors realize the premium they paid is gone. Why this happens? Because dealers think differently when buying. They ask, can I resell this quickly? Is there strong demand? Is this liquid? If the answer is uncertain, they fall back to melt value spot price. That's why liquidity matters more than hype. The mindset shift that changes everything. So here's the shift that separates beginners from experienced investors. Beginners think, I want the coolest, rarest, most unique coin. Smart investors think, I want the most silver for my money. That one mindset shift can completely change your results over time. Because at the end of the day, silver is not about aesthetics. It's about preserving wealth, protecting purchasing power, positioning for price appreciation when it does make sense to buy premium coins. Now, to be fair, there are situations where buying higher premium coins makes sense. You're a collector. You enjoy the design, rarity, and history. You understand the numismatic market. You know how to evaluate true rarity and long-term value. You're diversifying within precious metals. You want a small portion in collectible assets. But notice something. None of these are beginner strategies. If your goal is wealth building through silver, you should treat premium coins as a small side allocation, not your core strategy. The 2026 opportunity most people are missing. Here's the bigger picture. And this is where things get exciting. We're entering a time where global debt is rising. Global debt is rising. Currency concerns are increasing water. Industrial demand for silver is exploding from solar energy, electric vehicles, AI infrastructure. At the same same time, the physical silver market is relatively small, which means when serious money starts moving in, prices can move fast. And in that kind of environment, the investors who win are not the ones with the fanciest coins. They're the ones with the most ounces. So, before you buy your next silver coin in 2026, pause. Ask yourself one simple question. Am I buying value or am I buying hype? Because that one decision could be the difference between building real wealth or just owning expensive collectibles. If this video saved you from making a costly mistake, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's stacking silver. Because most people won't realize this until it's already too late. And remember, in the silver market, the biggest gains don't come from what you buy. They come from what you avoid. And if you found this video helpful, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because in this channel, we don't just follow the market. We break it down so you can stay ahead of it. Drop a comment below. Are you stacking silver right now? What are you buying in 2026? I read every comment and I want to hear your strategy. See you in the next one.